Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make 40K Frag Grenades for the Emperor! Right here on the Evil Ted channel. The grenade pattern comes on 2 pages. I find it's best to print out 2 of each because you're going to be cutting these up to make patterns, and it's always good to have an extra one for reference. We're going to use some Spray 77 to mount the patterns onto poster board. When applying the spray glue, I like to spray over the waistband so it won't get spray glue all over my workstation. This step's not necessary, but I always find it's easier to have your patterns on the poster board because they'll last longer and they're easier to trace on the foam. We're starting with page 1. We're going to cut out the safety lever profile. Now on to page 2. We're going to cut out 5 parts: the grenade main body, the top and bottom, and the fuse assembly. And you can of course cut these out with a craft knife or a pair of scissors. Take the grenade main body and with a notch cutter and cut the registration marks. So this will make it easier for us to reproduce the grid onto foam. Now that all our parts are cut out, let's trace them onto some foam. To make the fuse assembly, glue together 10mm and 6mm foam. I could cut this out with a craft knife, but I want to keep this nice and square, so we're going to take this over to the bandsaw. Now let's trace the grenade body onto some 8mm foam. Going back to our page number 2, you can see their contact edges on the grenade. One bevels out and the other one bevels in. When cutting the bevels, make sure that blade is nice and sharp. I like to keep my blade sharp by using my Crenshaw sharpener. With a straight edge and a ballpoint pen, we're going to draw the grid onto our grenade pattern. Now for the top and bottom of our grenade, we're going to cut these guys out using the circle cutter. So using the pattern, we're just going to measure the center of the pattern to adjust the circle cutter. The top of the grenade, I'm using 6mm foam and it's 2 inches wide, so we're going to adjust the circle cutter. When using the circle cutter, put down a piece of scrap foam on the bottom. This will prevent you from damaging the blade when you cut all the way through. And for the bottom of the grenade, we're going to be using 10mm foam. Now take the bottom pattern and cut out the center. Then trace it onto your 10mm foam. This will be our registration mark for the beveled edge. Now with our rotary tool and a sanding drum, we're going to bevel the edge. To minimize the dust, we're going to use my downdraft table. Now to switch over to the stone bit to help smooth out our edges. For the trim of the fuse assembly, we're going to use WTF 2mm foam. Now let's take our Woodburner and our metal straight edge and burn some grooves into our main body. When using the Woodburner, use a piece of scrap foam to see it's the right temperature. When burning in your groove lines, be steady and consistent. While the wood burner is hot, let's make some holes in our grenade fuse. Now let's move on to the safety handle. We're going to be making out a PVC bore, so we're going to cut some 6-inch scripts the same width as the grenade fuse. Then trace the handle profile onto a piece of wood. We're going to cut this out onto the bandsaw. Now with a fine tip Sharpie, I'm going to make some marks on the PVC strip where I know exactly where to apply the heat to make our bends for the handle. Get the heat board and our heat gun and our wood template. Heat up the PVC plastic and get it hot enough to where it's soft, but not too much where it'll melt it. Place it on the wood template and hold it till it cools. Now apply heat to the second line and be sure you're holding it nice and square. Now our parts are made, let's start gluing things together. Let's start with the fuse. Apply contact cement to the trim and the fuse. Now the glue is dry, we're going to apply the trim even with the bottom of the fuse. Before gluing our main body together, we're going to heat curl it first. Apply our contact cement. Now the glue is dry, we'd apply our seam together and press them, make sure they have good contact. Now with our heat gun, we're going to warm the foam up and get it back to a nice round shape. Now that our glue is dry, we're going to use the wood burner on our glue seam to add the groove detail back in. Now let's move on to the top and bottom. Let's glue on our fuse. Everything is together. Now before sealing, we're going to apply some masking tape on the top of our fuse. This is going to make a good contact point when we glue our PVC handle back onto our foam grenade. Now we're going to apply some rapid fill onto our rough spots. Now that it's dry, we're going to sand it with our sanding sponge. I am really liking how the grenade's coming together, but the more I look at it, I think the bottom, it needs a little bit more detail, so we're going to add a 2mm circle to the bottom. For mounting the grenade, I'm going to use a piece of baling wire pushed in the top. I'm going to seal it with creature cast rubber. If you don't have creature cast, you can definitely seal this with black Plasti Dip. While the grenade body is drying, let's move on to our safety handle. I'm going to take a sanding stick and soften the edges and round off the corners. Now that we're done, we're going to apply some masking tape to the inside of the safety handle. This will serve two purposes. It's going to help make a good contact glue point, and also give us a piece of masking tape to hang on to when we apply spray paint in the spray booth. To prep our PVC handle, I'm going to spray on some Oleum 2X primer. Now that our primer is dry, we're going to apply some dark metallic automotive paint. Okay, the grenade body is now dry. I end up putting about 2 coats of creature cast rubber on this. Now we're going to go and put some Oleum 2X flat black. The flat black is dry. This looks great. Now I'm going to show you my dry brushing technique by using a chip brush, silver spray paint, and a piece of cardboard. Yeah, we're going to move this over to the spray booth to help with the ventilation because the spray paint vapors are really bad. Spray a generous amount of silver paint onto your cardboard, and while it's still wet, take your chip brush and apply into it. Now you have to work quickly because the paint does dry. Then dry brush lightly onto the grenade body to give it that worn metal look. If you want to add more, just repeat the process. Let's pull out the baling wire, remove the masking tape. Let's get our safety lever and remove the masking tape. I can see I went a little heavy handing with the masking tape, so we're going to make some marks so we can come back with some Tamiya dark metallic paint and do some touch up on the bottom of my handle. Now we're going to glue the handle onto our body. We're using some Goop adhesive. While the glue is drying, let's move on to our grenade ring. For the grenade ring, I'll be using some key rings. They are a bit shiny, so I'm going to take a sanding stick to knock down the shine a little bit. Okay, this is going to take forever. Let me get my rotary tool and a stone bit. Now, let's go back in and add some black acrylic. Now we're going to add the ring to our grenade body using armature wire. Wrap it around our ring. Put the wire through the grenade fuse. With a pair of dikes, cut off the excess. Now with a pair of small needle nose pliers, we're going to bend them open. This looks awesome. The 40K Frag Grenade is complete. The 40K Frag Grenade. Everything I used on this build is listed below the video. If it's your first time watching, please hit that subscribe button and jump over to my website, evoltedsmith.com, where I sell patterns. You guys can pick up cosplay supplies. While you're there, get on my mailing list and I'll be telling you what I'll be building next from the 40K universe. Speaking of 40K, that's right, I'm giving this frag grenade away. It's easy. How do you enter the win? Just leave a comment, hit the thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe. And in your comments, leave hashtag Frag Grenade. I'll be announcing the winner live on YouTube Live Friday, March 25th. And if anybody contacts you prior to that and says that you won and it's me, not. There are trolls trying to get information from you. So if you do that, somebody hits you up, please report them immediately. They did it last time with the helmet giveaway. We're not going to put up with that. We'll drop a frag grenade on them. Guys, this has been fun. Please leave comments, hashtags, and I'll be back next Friday, March 25th, to announce the winner of this frag grenade. Everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you back next time right here on the Evil Ted channel. Here's another great way you can show your support. You can pick up some of my merchandise on my Teespring shop.